The Carthian Empire controlled hundreds of star systems. Their borders stretched farther than any other civilization. Their fleets were powerful, their technology advanced, and their leaders arrogant. They believed nothing in the galaxy could surprise them anymore, but on a quiet rotation cycle inside the Imperial Deep Space Monitoring Station, something unexpected appeared on the scanners. A junior officer named Raylan squinted at his screen. "Commander, I'm picking up a strange energy signal." Commander Vorlan walked over slowly, not expecting anything serious. Most of the strange signals they received were asteroids hitting radiation pockets or old mining drones drifting through space. But when he looked at the readings, his eyes widened. "What is this?" he muttered. The signal was pulsing, soft, steady, rhythmic. Not random, not natural, almost like a heartbeat. Raylan swallowed. "It doesn't match any species in our database." That sentence alone was enough to raise alarms. The Carthian database had information from thousands of civilizations. Every known engine type, every known ship design, every known energy signature. Nothing ever appeared that wasn't already recorded. Until now, Vorlan straightened. Increased long-range resolution. Raylan tapped his console. The blurry shape on the screen sharpened, slowly forming into something long, smooth, enormous. "That's not an asteroid," Raylan whispered. "No," Vorlan said. "It's a ship." The room fell silent. A ship that size should have been easy to identify. The Empire had detailed records of every major battleship, dreadnought, carrier, and exploration vessel known in the galaxy. But this ship was different. Its outline was sharp and clean, but also strangely organic, like a creature carved from metal. Blue lights pulsed faintly across its hull, almost like glowing veins, and the most disturbing part? It was moving directly toward Imperial space. Within minutes, the Discovery reached the Carthian High Command. Alarms sounded. Officers rushed to strategic displays, maps updated. Commanders argued about possibilities. One of our enemies created a new prototype. "No, it's too large for a prototype. Could it be a derelict? Ship waking up after centuries. The energy signature is too stable. Something is controlling it." The Emperor himself demanded answers. "Identify the ship immediately," he ordered, but the scientists could only shake their heads. "We cannot. Nothing in our records matches. Its engine type is unknown, its hull composition is unknown, even its movement pattern is unusual." The Emperor hissed in frustration. "Send a fleet to intercept it." And so Commander Ralvok was chosen. Ralvok was a strict, disciplined Carthian officer known for his ruthlessness in battle. He had faced pirate fleets, rebel factions, and hostile species. Nothing frightened him, at least not until he saw the image of the unknown ship. "This does not look like anything in our galaxy," he murmured. Still, he refused to show fear. He ordered his fleet, 40 warships strong, to prepare for first contact. The officers aboard his flagship, the Iron Fang, studied the data as the fleet approached the nebula where the signal originated. "Scanners are finding strange distortions in the nebula," said the sensor chief. "Something is affecting the dust clouds." "Is it the ship?" Ralvok asked. "Yes, sir. The clouds bend around it, like gravity fields. But this reading doesn't match gravity. It's something else. Keep your distance," Ralvok commanded. "We don't know what this thing can do." The nebula glowed with swirling red and blue clouds. Lightning-like energy flickered inside the gases. The Carthian fleet cut through the mist slowly, scanning every direction. Then they saw it, a massive shadow inside the nebula. Dark, silent, and impossibly large. The closer they got, the more details became visible. The vessel's hull looked ancient but perfect. No dents, no scratches, no signs of age. It was as if time itself avoided touching it. Blue lines pulsed across its body, slow, soft, steady, like the ship was breathing. Ralvok felt the scales on his arms rise. "This thing is alive," one officer whispered. "No," Ralvok said, though even he wasn't sure. "It is controlled. It has purpose." As if responding to their presence, the ship turned, not drifting, not pushed by momentum. It turned deliberately, like a predator looking directly at them. The entire Carthian bridge fell silent. "It noticed us," the sensor chief whispered. Now that the ship was facing them, a new reading appeared on the scanners, something no one expected. "A signal!" Rillin shouted. "It's transmitting data. What kind of data?" Ralvok demanded. Rillin's hands shook as he zoomed in. It's old. Extremely old. The language code is ancient. "Translate it," Ralvok ordered. "I'm trying, sir, but—" Rillin froze. His eyes widened. His mouth dropped open. "What does it say?" Ralvok growled. Rillin turned slowly, voice trembling. "Sir, the message says, Terra Guardian, active." The bridge went completely. Still Terra, humans. A species believed extinct for centuries. Ralvok felt the weight of history fall on his shoulders. Humans were legends, stories parents used to frighten children, tales of a dangerous race that ventured into the darkest parts of the galaxy, a species that built strange technology no one could understand and then vanished. If this ship was Terran, then something from humanity's past had awakened, and it was heading straight for the Empire. Ralvok opened a channel to the Emperor. "Your Majesty, we have a problem. The ship is not alien. It is human, Terran in origin. Silence, dead silence." Finally, the Emperor spoke. "Impossible. They died centuries ago," Ralvok replied quietly. "If they died, their weapons did not." The unknown ship began moving again, slowly, powerfully, confidently. The Carthian fleet watched in fear. For the first time in their history, the Empire faced something it did not understand. And something told Ralvok this was only the beginning. The discovery of the strange Terran ship spread through the Carthian Empire like wildfire. Officers whispered about it in corridors, scientists argued in their labs, politicians panicked behind closed doors. Even civilians heard rumors of a ghost ship moving through the nebula of ash. Within a single rotation cycle, the Emperor called an emergency council meeting inside the Imperial War Dome, a vast hall lit by thousands of floating screens. All eyes were fixed on the hologram of the unknown ship, a long, smooth alien shape, glowing blue lines, no heat signature, no identifiable propulsion system, a ship that should not exist. The Emperor's voice was cold. "Is it hostile?" General Sorak stepped forward. "Unknown. It did not fire. It did not communicate. It only turned toward us." A senator hissed. "That means it is coming here." Dr. Alara, the chief science officer, shook her head. "No, its movement is controlled, but slow, precise, almost like it is scanning the region." "Scanning?" the Emperor repeated. "For what?" No one knew. General Sorak raised his datapad. "Your Majesty, I recommend we send our strongest intercept fleet. We cannot allow an unidentified ship to drift freely into our space." The Emperor nodded. "How many ships?" 40 SPs echoed across the room. 40 Carthian warships were enough to crush a small civilization. Such a number was rarely used unless the Empire felt threatened or insulted, but the Emperor was not taking chances. "Deploy the fleet," he ordered. "Bring me answers." Within minutes, the Carthian intercept group mobilized. Engines roared to life, weapons charged, shields shimmered. Admiral Ralvok stood at the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Fang, giving final instructions. "All ships maintain formation. Do not provoke the unknown vessel. We gather information first." "Understood," his officers replied, but deep inside, even Ralvok felt uneasy. The energy readings on their screens were unlike anything he had seen. As the fleet approached the nebula of ash, the strange ship became clearer. Its shape was massive, larger than the Carthian dreadnoughts. Its hull was smooth, flawless, and almost too perfect, like it was grown rather than built. The sensor officer frowned. "Sir, scanners are weakening." Ralvok turned. "Recalibrate." I did. "They're still dropping. What about the hull composition?" Another officer shook his head. "We cannot identify the material. It's beyond the limits of our instruments." Ralvok stepped closer to the main screen. "What about life signs, crew readings, heat signals?" The officer swallowed hard. "Nothing, sir. No crew. No heat, no radiation, no emissions." Ralvok's claws tightened. No ship of that size could be unmanned, and no ship could hide all forms of energy output. Yet this one did. Slowly, realization crept into the minds of every officer. This ship was not built the way normal species built ships. Back in the science bay of the flagship, engineers studied every bit of data with growing frustration. "This is impossible," one muttered. "Are our scanners broken?" "No. The readings are real. Then what is this thing? Made o something unknown. One young engineer trembled. We can't scan inside it. We can't read the engines. It's like the laws of physics bend around it. Another engineer whispered something none of them wanted to hear. This ship is not built with anything known to the galaxy. Those words spread quickly, reaching Ral Vok and the fleet officers. The tension on the bridge grew thicker with every passing moment, despite the growing fear. The Carthian Empire remained proud, arrogant, confident in their power. Even if it is advanced, a weapons officer argued, we have 40 warships. Our numbers alone will intimidate it. Ral Vok nodded slowly. Perhaps, but he did not believe it. He watched the unknown vessel floating inside the nebula, glowing softly like a sleeping beast. It did not rush. It did not show aggression. It simply moved with purpose. This ship is not afraid of us, Ral Vok whispered to himself. He felt it in his bones. A predator recognizes another predator. The fleet spread out into a battle formation, dreadnoughts in the center, cruisers around them, destroyers forming a protective ring, a formation designed to intimidate any hostile force. The unknown ship did not react. It's ignoring us, the tactical officer said quietly. Ral Vok leaned forward. Unknown vessel, this is the Carthian Empire. State your identity. Silence. He tried again. You are entering restricted space. If you do not respond, suddenly, the strange ship turned. Every officer froze. It didn't turn with thrusters or momentum. It didn't adjust like a mechanical machine. It turned smoothly, like a living creature turning its head. Straight toward the Carthian fleet, a chill ran through the entire bridge. It noticed us, a young navigator whispered. The sensor officer gasped. Sir, massive energy spike. What kind? Ral Vok barked. I don't know. It's not plasma, not ion, not nuclear, not anything in our records. Lights on the unknown ship brightened. Blue veins along its hull glowed intensely, as if the machine was waking up. It's active, the sensor officer said. Ral Vok's heart pounded. All ships raised shields. As the fleet prepared for battle, the unknown vessel released a pulse of energy, soft, slow, and strangely gentle. But their scanners lit up like alarms. What did it do? Is that a weapon? No impact detected, nothing physical. But the pulse continued spreading, examining them, touching every ship. It's scanning us, Ral Vok realized. And the terrifying part, they couldn't scan it back. The Carthian fleet, proud and mighty, now hovered in front of a ship that broke every law of physics they knew. A ship that ignored intimidation. A ship that moved with ancient confidence, a ship that scanned them like children, a ship that should not exist. And then on every screen, a single line of text appeared again. Terra Guardian, active. Ral Vok stared at it, knowing the truth. They were not facing an alien vessel. They were facing human technology, older, stronger, and far beyond the Empire's understanding. A Terran warship had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Carthian intercept fleet finally reached full formation around the unknown ship. 40 warships encircled it, dreadnoughts above, cruisers on both flanks, destroyers forming a wide outer ring. Their formation was tight, disciplined, and strong. Against any normal enemy, it would have worked. But the object at the center of their formation was not normal. It did not respond to their presence. It did not drift away or adjust course. It simply stopped. As if choosing to wait, on the flagship Iron Fang, Admiral Ral Vok watched in uneasy silence. Sir, the navigator whispered, the unknown vessel has halted all movement. Ral Vok narrowed his eyes. Why would it stop? No one answered. Maybe it's damaged, an officer suggested. Maybe it is assessing us, another said. Maybe it is a trap, muttered the weapons chief. Ral Vok said nothing. He kept staring at the enormous ship on the screen. Even standing still, it radiated a presence, calm, ancient, powerful. Nothing the Carthians possessed felt comparable. Ral Vok finally lifted his clawed hand, opened a channel. A short beep echoed as the entire fleet connected to the broadcast. Ral Vok spoke with his strongest, commanding voice. Unknown vessel. You are in restricted Carthian territory. Identify yourself immediately or face destruction. His voice echoed across all 40 warships. Every officer waited. The air felt heavy. No reply. Ral Vok tried again, louder this time. Unknown vessel, this is your last warning. Still no response. A murmur spread through the bridge. Perhaps it cannot understand us. Maybe it has no crew. What if it is unmanned? No, something controlled it when it turned. Ralvok clenched his jaw. What do you ship? And then the impossible happened. At first, nothing changed. Then the ship's hull began to glow. Slowly, softly, a faint blue pulse moved along its surface, lighting up long pathways like veins on skin. The officers gasped. What is this? Energy readings rising. It's activating something. But there were no visible thrusters, no engines, no weapon hatches opening, no sound. Instead, the shadows along its body shifted, like the ship was breathing. Ralvok felt a cold shiver run down his spine. This ship is alive, someone whispered. Dr. Saren, the science officer, shook her head. No, not alive, but not mechanical either. It operates beyond anything we understand. Every screen inside the Iron Fang began flashing with new readings. Readings no Carthian scanner had ever recorded. Gravity dist. Ortion. Unknown type. Quantum resonance. Off the charts. Sir, the hull is changing? No, responding? Responding to what? To them. Inside every ship, officers leaned forward in fear and confusion. This feels wrong. It's too calm. It's not reacting like a machine. No weapon signals detected. Then why is it powering up? Ralvok's claw hovered over the attack order. Prepare weapons, he commanded quietly. But do not fire unless I say, yes, Admiral. Turrets rotated. Missile bays opened. Plasma cannons charged. The atmosphere across all 40 ships felt suffocating. The unknown vessel finished powering up. A low, resonant hum filled the space around them, like a choir of distant voices, and then all Carthian screens flickered. A single line of text appeared across every screen in the fleet, not in Carthian language, not in a modern galactic language, but in an old, forgotten tongue, a language believed extinct, a language belonging to a species long erased from history. Terra Guardian, active. Silence, total silence. No one moved, no one breathed, no one spoke. The galaxy had believed humans died out centuries ago. Their worlds turned to dust, their cities vanished, their technology lost in forgotten wars. But now, staring at that cold line of text, the truth crashed into every mind. Humans had built this. Terrans had built something beyond understanding, a guardian, still functioning after centuries. Ralvok whispered the words he once learned in history tales. Terra? Earth? Humans? His officers stared at the screen with wide, terrified eyes. That means humans had ships this strong? Ships that look like this? This thing is a relic of their power? If this is a guardian, then what were the main Terran warships like? Fear grew like ice around their hearts, because the message did not just identify the ship, it declared that. It was active. And active Terran technology was something the galaxy had never survived. The glowing veins along the ship brightened again. Energy spike, shouted the sensor officer, higher than any Carthian dreadnought. What is it doing? Someone yelled. The entire Carthian fleet watched in horror as the Guardian did something they had not expected. It turned its front toward them. The movement was slow, smooth, controlled, but the meaning was unmistakable. The Terran Guardian was now looking at them. Every Carthian officer felt like prey caught in the stare of an ancient predator. Weapons Chief Varn dragged his claws across the console. Sir, what are your orders? Ralvok's throat felt dry. He had fought many battles. He had seen entire star systems burn. He had faced impossible odds. But he had never faced anything like this. The Guardian ship, massive, silent, impossibly advanced, hovered in front of them without fear, without tension, without threat. It didn't need to threaten them. Its existence alone was enough. On every Carthian ship, one thought formed. Humans might still exist, or worse, their machines might still protect whatever they left behind. Ralvok took a deep breath. Everything he thought he knew about the galaxy, everything his ancestors believed, everything the Empire taught, all of it was wrong. Terran technology had awakened, and the Guardian had chosen to reveal itself. The Terran Guardian hung motionless in the nebula, glowing softly like a sleeping titan. The Carthian fleet surrounded it with fear and confusion. 40 warships, armed with the finest weapons the Empire had ever created, waited in silence. No one breathed, no one dared to move. Every officer watched the massive, unknown ship, praying it would not attack. Then, without warning, the Guardian stirred, not violently, not aggressively, but slowly, calmly, like a Aegean. Tea stretching after sleeping for 1,000 years. The glowing blue veins across its hull brightened. Massive armored plates shifted. Hidden sections unfolded, revealing deeper layers of machinery beneath the surface, technology far too advanced for any living civilization to understand. On the Iron Fang, alarms blared. "Sir, movement detected. Energy levels skyrocketing. The ship is waking up." Admiral Ralvok stepped forward, his voice barely above a whisper. "So this is what Terran power looks like." Every pair of eyes was glued to the screen. The hull of the Terran ship parted gently, revealing a colossal cannon hidden beneath layers of armor. The cannon was longer than most Carthian destroyers. Its barrel glowed with a strange light, calm, blue, pulsing like a heartbeat. Gasps filled the bridge. "What kind of weapon is that? It's bigger than our capital ship. No species builds warships this large." Ralvok didn't need sensors to know the truth. If that cannon fired, the Carthian fleet would vanish in one shot. But the Guardian did not fire. Instead, its energy grew brighter and brighter, illuminating the nebula around it. The Terran ship rotated with perfect grace, facing the Carthian formation with cold confidence. Then a voice spoke. A deep metallic voice echoed through every ship in the Carthian fleet. It wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it was simply commanding, "You are approaching a protected zone. Retreat or be neutralized." The bridge fell silent. Weapon officers froze mid-motion. Engineers stared at their consoles. Ralvok's claws tightened around the edge of his command chair. A protected zone? Protected by what? Humans? Terrans? Someone else? Ralvok's voice shook. Did everyone hear that?" "Yes, sir," the communications officer said, trembling. The message came from the unknown ship. The fleet officers exchanged confused, fearful looks. "This means the ship is not unmanned?" "No, it's an AI, an ancient Terran AI still functioning. This is impossible." "It's giving us a warning," Dr. Saren whispered, "which means it believes we are a threat, despite the fear gripping the fleet." One ship captain refused to accept the situation. Captain Merrick, commanding the cruiser Vornax, snarled into his transmitter, "This is nonsense. A relic of a dead species cannot threaten the Empire." He shouted to his crew, "Charge plasma cannons. Fire a warning shot." Ralvok immediately opened a channel. "Merrick, do not fire. That is a Terran." But it was too late. A bright plasma bolt streaked through space toward the Guardian. Everyone expected the enemy ship to dodge, to shield, to counterattack, but it did nothing. Instead, something even stranger happened. The plasma bolt reached the Guardian's hull and disappeared, not deflected, not absorbed, not neutralized. It simply vanished, as if erased from existence. Every Carthian officer gasped. What happened to the projectile? Where did it go? This is not possible. Before the fleet could react, the Terran Guardian sent out a tiny pulse of blue light. It was small, silent, barely visible, but the effect was immediate. On the Vornax, engines died, shields collapsed, weapons shut down, lights flickered and went out. The entire warship went powerless in seconds. The cruiser drifted forward, dead in space. Absolute silence filled the bridge. Ralvok stared in horror. "It disabled the Vornax instantly," he whispered. Without firing a weapon, a junior officer trembled. "Sir, it could do the same to all of us." A cold realization spread through the Carthian fleet. They were not standing in front of a relic. They were standing in front of a god. Every Carthian ship backed away slightly, terrified of triggering another response. "This is beyond our technology. We cannot fight this. What do we do?" The Terran AI spoke again, calm and unbothered. "Second warning. Retreat now." Ralvok felt sweat drip down his neck. This ship did not scream threats. It did not flash weapons. It did not boast. It simply told the truth. If the Carthians stayed, they would be neutralized. "Sir," the navigation officer whispered, "the Guardian has locked onto all ships with some kind of unknown scanning beam. Can it disable all of us?" Another asked. Ralvok knew the answer. Yes, easily. The Terran Guardian did not flinch. It did not reposition. It did not activate shields. It did not boost power. It didn't need to. A single pulse had destroyed an entire cruiser. No weapon in the Carthian Empire could match such power. No defense could counter it. No strategy could defeat it. This ship was built at a time when humans ruled the stars with machines so advanced they looked like magic. And now, the Carthians were seeing their nightmare firsthand. Humanity's warship was alive, awake, and completely unafraid. Ralvok finally spoke, his voice breaking. All ships fall back. One by one, the Carthian warships slowly moved away, keeping their weapons cold and their engines low. No one wanted to provoke the Guardian again. As they retreated, the AI delivered one final message. Terran territory remains protected. Do not return. Ralvok bowed his head. This was not just a warning. It was a claim, a declaration that humans, though long gone, still controlled something far beyond the reach of the galaxy, and their machines were still watching. The Carthian fleet drifted in terrified silence after the Terran Guardian disabled the Vornax. No one dared to move. No one dared to speak. 40 ships, once proud and confident, now felt like insects trapped under the shadow of something ancient and unstoppable. Admiral Ralvok tried to steady his breath. His heart hammered inside his chest. He had faced warlords, pirates, rebels, yet nothing had ever shaken him like this quiet, glowing warship. "Sir," whispered the tactical officer, voice trembling, "we are still within firing range of that cannon." Ralvok's eyes narrowed. "Cannon?" The officer pointed to the screen. "Look, the Terran Guardian." Shifted again, smoothly, calmly, like a creature moving through water. Then something terrifying happened. Parts of its armor slid apart, revealing a massive structure underneath. A long, dark, barrel-like weapon extended forward, so huge that even Carthian dreadnoughts looked tiny by comparison. Gasps filled every Carthian ship. "It's bigger than a moon fragment. No species builds weapons that size. That's not a cannon, that's a planet killer." Blue lightning-like energy began to gather along the cannon's length. The nebula around the ship glowed brighter and brighter, illuminated by pulses of power. The sensor officer slammed his claws on the console. Power readings rising. "It's charging a full shot." "How strong?" Ralvok demanded. "Silence." The sensor officer looked up with shaking eyes. "Strong enough to erase us, Admiral. All of us." A heavy quiet fell across the bridge. Inside the Carthian fleet, commanders argued. "We must retreat. No, we must fire first. If we show weakness, it will destroy us. If we attack, it will destroy us." Ralvok listened to the voices echoing through the fleet channel. Fear, anger, panic, they mixed together until no one could think clearly. The Guardian's cannon grew brighter. Blue waves rippled across the armor. Deep vibrations shook the nebula. Even the asteroids around the ship trembled. Ralvok raised his voice above the chaos. "Enough, we must think." But no one wanted to think. Fear had taken over, suddenly. The Terran Guardian's cannon reached full brightness. The nebula lit up like a newborn star. Asteroids cast long shadows across space. Every scanner across the fleet screamed warnings in a dozen languages. "Critical energy level. One shot will destroy the entire fleet. Brace for impact." Carthian hearts froze. Every officer felt a primal instinct, an ancient biological fear that drowned out logic. This was not a weapon meant for battles. This was a weapon meant for extinction. Ralvok felt his claws dig into the arm of his chair. He tried to order the fleet to retreat, but his voice died in his throat. His mouth moved. No words came out. He wasn't the only one. Commanders, navigators, weapons officers, everyone froze, not because someone told them to, not because their systems shut down, but because their instincts were screaming, "Do not move, do not breathe, do not anger the machine." One by one, Carthian ships stopped all movement. Engines idled, thrusters cooled, weapons lowered. Navigation froze. The fleet became a silent wall of unmoving metal. Ralvok whispered, "Is this fear or paralysis?" Dr. Saren replied softly, "Fear, pure fear. They believe if they move, the cannon will fire." She was right. Every ship in the Carthian fleet understood the same truth. One mistake, one wrong motion, one tiny spark of aggression, and the Terran Guardian would destroy them all. Inside the bridge, Ralvok looked again at the glowing Terran cannon. "How did humans build something like this?" he murmured. Dr. Saren answered quietly, "Humans were different, Admiral. They did not build ships to match the enemy. They built ships to erase the enemy." Ralvok stared at her. You mean, yes, she said, humanity created weapons strong enough to end wars before they even began? The officers exchanged horrified looks. So this is normal Terran technology? What if they had stronger ships than this? What if this is only a Guardian unit? Dr. Saren nodded slowly. If this is a Guardian, then the main Terran warships were far more powerful. Ralvok's stomach twisted. Then we are lucky humans are gone. The bridge went silent, because if they were alive, Saren whispered, they could conquer the galaxy in a single year. Suddenly, the glowing cannon dimmed slightly. The fleet held its breath. It's decreasing power. It's not firing. Why? The Guardian ship's lights shifted again, now glowing in slow pulses, less aggressive, more thoughtful. Finally, the cannon retracted slowly back into the hull, armor sealing over it like the eyelid of a giant. The fleet nearly collapsed in relief. It spared us. It chose not to fire. Why not? Ralvok's claws trembled. It could have ended us instantly, he said. But it didn't. Dr. Saren spoke softly. Because we did not attack. It is following ancient Terran rules. Neutralize only threats. Ralvok closed his eyes. We were 1 second away from extinction. The Terran Guardian drifted forward again. Slow, powerful, unstoppable. It did not speak. It did not threaten. It simply existed, and that was enough. Ralvok opened a channel to the entire fleet. All ships, do not engage. Remain still. Allow it to pass. No one argued. No one dared. The Carthian fleet watched in absolute silence as the Terran Guardian floated through their formation like a god drifting through mortals. Some officers cried silently, some prayed, some stared in awe. Every Carthian knew one truth. They had looked into the face of human power and survived only because the machine allowed it. The Terran Guardian drifted forward with slow, calm confidence. It did not rush, it did not threaten. It simply moved like a ruler passing through land that already belonged to it. Inside the Carthian fleet, fear had reached its highest point. Every officer felt their claws shaking. Every navigator hesitated to even touch their controls. Every captain stared at the glowing warship and knew one thing: if it wanted them dead, they would be gone already. But the Guardian wasn't finished. The blue lights along its hull brightened again, soft, steady pulses that felt almost like breathing. The nebula around it glowed with each beat, lighting up the shattered remains of asteroid fragments. Ralvok watched from the bridge of the Iron Fang, his throat dry. What is it doing now?" whispered the sensor officer. "I don't know," Ralvok answered quietly, "but prepare for anything." Suddenly, the ship's lights froze. And then the voice returned, deep, metallic, emotionless, ancient. "This region is under Terran protection. All hostile forces will be removed." The words flowed through every Carthian ship simultaneously, bypassing their communication systems entirely. It felt like the voice spoke directly into the minds of the officers, cold and undeniable. A wave of panic rippled across the fleet. This region under Terran protection. That means humans claimed this territory long ago. Are there more Terran ships? Are humans still alive somewhere? Ralvok raised a claw for silence. Do not panic. We do not know what this means yet, but even he didn't believe his own words. The Guardian's hull glowed brighter. Then, boom, a pulse of white-blue energy exploded outward from the ship. But it was not an attack. It was not destructive. It didn't tear through metal or melt armor. It simply passed through the entire fleet like a soft wind. No heat, no pressure, no damage, yet every Carthian system instantly shut down. Weapons died, missile bays froze, engines powered off, shields collapsed, targeting systems went dark. Every ship drifted helplessly. It disabled us. Again, we're blind. We have no control. This is worse than before. Ralvok stared in awe, a single pulse. And the entire fleet is powerless. Dr. Saren checked her console, shaking her head in disbelief. "Admiral, this pulse did not hurt us. It only disabled our weapons. It chose not to damage anything else." Ralvok whispered, "A warning." "Yes," she said. "A very clear warning. If the Terran ship wanted to kill them, it had countless chances, but instead, it let them live. It watched them. It judged them. and then it allowed them to leave. The Guardian's lights dimmed again, its cannon retracted fully. The hull sealed itself shut. The ship's glow faded to a soft, calm blue. Then the AI spoke one last time. Hostile forces detected. Threat removed. Resume departure. Threat removed. For the Carthians, those two words felt like knives. We were the threat, one officer whispered, and it removed our weapons, another said, without harming us. Ralvok nodded slowly. This ship was not here to destroy, he said. It was here to enforce Terran rules. But humans are extinct, a junior officer said nervously. Everyone looked at Dr. Saren. She shook her head. No, humans may be gone, but their technology is not. And their machines still follow their old laws. A silence fell across the bridge, a silence full of fear. When the Carthian systems slowly rebooted, the first command came from Admiral Ralvok. All ships, retreat. No one questioned the order. No one argued. No one hesitated. Even the bravest captains felt their courage melt away when they looked at the Terran Guardian, still glowing, still watching, still active. Engines hummed weakly as the fleet turned around. The warships drifted backward at first, too afraid to expose their engines to the Guardian's gaze. Only after gaining distance did they rotate fully and accelerate away. The Guardian did not chase, it did not threaten. It simply hovered in the nebula like a giant sentinel guarding ancient territory. Ralvok watched it on the view screen until it finally vanished behind the cosmic dust. This must never be spoken lightly, he said quietly. The Empire must understand what we faced. Dr. Saren nodded. The Terrans were never weak, she said. We only forgot their strength. By the time the Carthian fleet returned home, rumors had already begun spreading. Pirate networks, smuggler channels, border stations, deep space listening posts. Everyone heard the whispers. A human ship appeared. It froze a fleet with one look. It disabled 40 warships with a single pulse. No one could fight it. No one survived because it let them survive. The galaxy trembled at the idea. Some believed humans were alive. Some believed their AI systems were waking up. Some believed the Terrans were returning. But one fact spread faster than the rumors. The Carthian Empire froze in fear at the sight of a single human warship. In the Imperial High Council, the Emperor listened to Ralvok's report in stunned silence. When the Admiral finished, the Emperor whispered, "So, humans are not gone." Ralvok bowed his head. "Their machines still live, Your Majesty, and they still protect their territory." The Emperor closed his eyes. Then he gave an order that no one ever expected. Mark all Terran zones as forbidden. No ship enters, no ship approaches ever. The Council bowed, not because they agreed, but because they were terrified. Across the galaxy, civilizations updated their maps. Terran space, once forgotten, was marked again in red, in bold, in fear, because somewhere in the nebula, an ancient guardian still watched, silent, patient, deadly, and everyone knew if one Terran ship could freeze an entire fleet, what would happen if more of them awakened?